Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, Keles. Shabbat shalom to you who are joining us online tonight for Shabbat Ekev. So we are going to start our service on page... I can't remember now. I've been away too long. On page 75, and I will ask you to stand. And Nicole, bevakasha, can you light the Shabbat candles for us? So Nicole is the grandmother of a bar mitzvah we are having next week. So in honor, lichvod the bar mitzvah, we're going to ask Savta to light the candles for us.
Vous allez m'aider?
Oui. On vous allumer d'abord les bougies. Je vais peut-être la remonter, peut-être. La bénédiction. On l'a dit ensemble. Baruch ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, אשר קידשנו במצוותיך וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. Amen. Thank you. Merci. Please be seated. Page 76. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharet, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachi HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachi Ashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech Malachi HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bachuni leShalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech Malachi HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem leShalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech Malachi HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 78. Yedid nefesh avarachaman meshor chavdecha el retzonecha yarutz avdecha kemo ayal yishtachave el mul hadarar yerav lo yedidotecha minofet tzuf vechol tam lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai lai ya lai lai ya lai lai ya lai 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 ya lai ya lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai 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 יגאלנה ובחוס חביב עלי את סוכת שלומר תאיר ארץ מכבודך נגילה ונשמחה בר מהר אהוב כי במועד וכוננו כי מעולם la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la la ya la la. Please turn to page 89. So, wow, we've got many friends online today. We have Sibyl, Russell, Deborah, Helen, Anna, Sandra, and Maxine and Michelle. Wow, and all the names I can't see, of course. So Shabbat Shalom to you all, and thank you for joining us tonight. So we are on page 89. מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות עלי עשור ועלי נבל עלי היגיון בכינור מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון כי שימרתני אדוני בפועלך במעשה ידיך ארנן מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון צדיק אתה מר יפרח כארז בלבנון יזכה שתולים בבית אדוני בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו עוד ינובון בשבע דשנים ורעננים יהיו להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי ולא עוולת בו. L'Echadodi on page 91. So it's always a question, which tune? So we go to the safe tune. L'Echadodi likrat kala פני שבת נקבלה לחדודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו וללכה, כי הם מכוח ברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, כי בעורר קומי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Please stand. And we welcome the Queen of Shabbat. בואי ושלום עטרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמונה עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. On page 92. ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. Please be seated. And let's say together, we praise you, Eternal One, our God, sovereign of the universe, whose word brings on the evening, whose wisdom opens heaven's gates, whose understanding changes times and seasons, and whose will set the stars in their courses in the sky. You make day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light. You make day pass and bring on the night, and separate day from night. You rule the host of heaven. We praise you, O God, whose word makes evening fall. Avat olam Beit Yisrael, Amecha aveta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, אותנו לימדת, על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי לחם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגי יומם ולילה, נגי יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסור ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. Please stand on page 94. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשורבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אמת. Please be seated. All this we hold to be true and sure. You alone, eternal one, are our God, and we are Israeli people. You have freed us from oppressors and delivered us from tyrants. You led us out of Egypt forever to serve you in freedom. When we witness your power, we praise your name and gave thanks. Willingly we accepted your rule. Then, full of joy, we sang together. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלי, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Please let's say together, grant eternal God that we may lie down in peace, and let us rise up to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your wise counsel, and for your name's sake be our help. Shield us from sickness and war, from famine and distress, and keep us from wrongdoing. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you are our guardian and deliverer, a gracious and merciful God. Guard our going out and our coming in, but now and always we may have life and peace. We praise you, O God. May your shelter and peace descend on us and all who dwell on earth. Please stand for the Amidah, page 97. Okay, just on the Sandra, thank you for popping in. I hope you have a nice break. Yeah, it's really nice because we have this interaction with all of these people. Alexandra is here as well. Shabbat shalom to you. It's good to see you too. Yeah, brilliant. Deborah is here as well. Gosh. Page 97. Adonai sefatai tiftar ufi yagi tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips Let my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'emoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכה חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה מת עם מטריו להושיע. משיב הרוח מוריד הגשם, מזריח השמש ומוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד. אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיע ישועה, ונאמנת לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. קדוש אתה ונורא שמך, ואין לנו אלוה מבלעדיך. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. Please be seated. And let's read together. We thank you, O God, for this Sabbath day, which calls us to a closer communion with you. Though you are near to us at all times, you reveal your presence most clearly when we direct our thoughts towards you in worship and meditation. In you, O God, our humanity is exalted. You are our life. From you come its greatness, its power, its beauty. Establish in us, we humbly pray, a devotion to you that shall be firm in all the circumstances of life. May this service renew in our hearts the sense of your presence and bring us peace. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. Page 100. Our God and God of ancestors, may our day, rest on this day, be pleasing in your sight. Sanctify us by your commandments and make us loyal to your teaching. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, eternal one, let the holiness of your Sabbath enter our hearts, and may all Israel who hallow your name be exalted by its peace. We praise you, O God, for the holiness of the Sabbath. Eternal God, be gracious to people Israel, and in your love accept their prayers. May our worship now and always be acceptable to you. We praise you, O God, whom alone we worship in reverence, and say together, we give thanks that you, Eternal One, our God, as you were the God of ancestors, you are the rock of our life, the power that shields us in every age. We thank and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your keeping, for the signs of your presence we encounter every day, and for your wondrous gifts at all times, morning, noon, and night. We praise you, O God, source of goodness, to whom our thanks are due. Shalom Rav al Israel Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Israel Amcha טסים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. וטוב בניך לבחר את עמך ישראל ואת כל העמים בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. Baruch atah Adonai Yosei HaShalom. We praise you, O God, the source of peace, and we take now a few moments of private prayer and meditation. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Israel, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, yase shalom. Yahashte shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel, v'aseh shalom, Yahashte shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel, Yahashte shalom, Yahashte shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel, Yahashte shalom, Yahashte shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol bnei Adam. Or Yoshvei Tevel as you wish. I don't remember which one we have. Bnei Adam, okay. Right, Shabbat Shalom. It's really good to be back, even though the world around us is not forgiving at the moment. And I wanted to talk to you about what happened in New York State last week with Salman Rushdie being stabbed on stage by a young man. So you probably remember, as I do, the uproar caused by the publication of the satanic verses of Salman Rushdie in the autumn 1988. I remember seeing footage of demonstrations in the Muslim world, effigies of a writer being burnt in public, and the fatwa that was proclaimed by Ayatollah Khomeini on Radio of Tehran in February 1989, calling the book blasphemous and offering a reward for the death of the author. We all remember that. It happened over 30 years ago. And of course, a few months later in 1989, the Berlin Wall fell, and we forgot about that because the fall of the Berlin Wall was things that changed the world radically. But some people haven't forgotten about it. And some people chased Salman Rushdie's entire life to the point that he had to live in hiding almost his entire life since then. Up to last week, when even he thought that the fatwa was somehow relaxed because there was not many mentions anymore of that death threat over his head, then he gave this lecture in New York and was stabbed by a man, I don't know how to call him, inflicting life-changing injuries 33 years later after the fatwa. At a time he wasn't even born, and about a book he probably hasn't never read. And to be honest, I didn't read the book either, so I won't comment on its content, but in a way it's completely irrelevant. It is impossible not to think about the fate of the 12 people that were killed closer to us in January 2015 in Paris. Charlie Hebdo, the journalist of Charlie Hebdo, because the murderers felt offended by the treatment of their religion in this satirical journal. So, if your religion justifies murder, if your understanding of religion justifies murder, if you kill, if you discriminate, if you limit freedom in the name of God, then there is something wrong with your theology. It means that you have no distance from the text, that you show no intelligence and subtlety when you read these venerable and yet ancient words, and that you pervert the true meaning of a healthy relationship with God, which entails self-development, love for your neighbor, and respect for those who are different. The culprit that stabbed Rushdie will probably be diagnosed with mental health issues. This happens quite often recently with these people who commit this kind of crimes. And it's probably true to a certain extent. If you consider that he actually tried to kill another human being, something that is actually a taboo in every culture, and it's so well defined by the law in every country that there's only a certain moment where you can actually kill. Right? It's during the war. You understand that somehow he was out of his mind. But the fact remains, he acted upon the injunctions of a regime that is using religion for power and control, not to promote what should be a religion of peace as it's described by my British Muslim friends when you talk about Islam. Second question, being offended today, it's a big thing. We are easily offended. So what about the idea of blasphemy? We can't blaspheme anymore? More and more people today are using this argument of offensive words to shut down any dialogue. We can't laugh about everything. Of course, we all have red lines. But should we kill the one who has offended us? The boundaries of what is acceptable or not are constantly moving, as we know. But if you're comfortable with your identity and with who you are, then you can't be easily offended. Moreover, is asking questions or questioning people's assumptions offensive? But in the case of Rushdie and even Charlie Hebdo, it was sheer, there's no other word than stupidity and ignorance. They were not interested in challenging these people. They were just interested in shutting them down. So one of the big tenets of our civilization, I'm talking here because we talk about civilization in Europe and in the States, and I'm not talking about the 288 character statement on Twitter that pretend to be freedom of speech because they are not freedom of speech. I'm talking about the freedom to express ideas, views, even if they are offensive. Despite the biblical God that we know very well, that is very often jealous, angry, vindicative, we know that God is actually, if you think about the number of people killed in Torah, it's not by human beings, by God. He kills thousands and thousands of people all the time. But despite that, the Jewish tradition has a long history of freedom of speech. We argue with each other all the time. We often have hot conversations. It can be exhausting, to be honest. But the truth is, We need to know that the world doesn't revolve around our little selves. We are not the measure of everything. And we must accept with a little bit of humility that humans hold different views. And when we compare these views, we can actually grow. And of course, today there's a large struggle of worldviews. And I'm going to be very caricatural here. One in which you must obey and follow strict guidelines. And in one in which you are free to ask questions, ready to be challenged, and open to evolve. That is why our turn of Judaism is called progressive Judaism, because each generation after each generation creates and imagines its own worldview and accepts dissenting opinions. And we don't kill each other. Okay? So, a few words about what's coming next. So tomorrow we have a Shabbat morning service here at 11:15, and I just wanted to tell you that we are changing the starting time of Shabbat morning services from September up to 10:45 a.m. in order to match, with Beiteinu, so we can be more aligned with them. So that tomorrow, that's the last Shabbat morning service when you can have a longer snooze. You have to come earlier, the next Shabbat morning services. So next week, we have a bar mitzvah. So it's a bit special because the bar mitzvah for once will not happen on Shabbat morning, but on Sunday morning, because Rabbi Daniel Rich, who is our emeritus rabbi, will take the service, and he couldn't come on Shabbat morning for... I think he's busy somewhere else. I don't remember why. The reason, so we've decided, I didn't want to have a service here on Shabbat morning and nobody from the community on Sunday morning. So we have, the Shabbat will be on Sunday. I'm not converting you to Christianity, don't worry. It's a one-off. But in order to be with Oliver, we're going to have our Shabbat morning service on Sunday. So please come along to support our young bar mitzvah. And I can see that there's another bar mitzvah coming as well, so at some point. 3 years, okay. So we've got some simchas with the Kazas family coming up. So please come along and support them. Next Friday evening, so I'm not here next Friday, I think. Who's taking the service? I haven't. So Vince, Janet as well. No, Vince. No, okay. So Vince. You're in Cardiff. Yeah. I'm not going to ask you what you're doing in Cardiff. So Vince is taking... Yeah, Cardiff Pride. So Vince is taking the service next Friday evening. And of course now we're heading towards the high holidays. And, we're coming to this intense period of the year. So I'm not going to tell you much because we're still in August. And but, we have a very packed agenda. And it's not because we have to do it, but it's because it brings us something. It brings us renewal and it brings us meaning. And of course, it's you have to. When I had a gym membership, one of the time I was, believe it or not, I had a gym membership for a while. And one day, you have this skinny gym supervisor, no gain, no pain. I say, No pain, I don't care about the gain. So it's a bit like this, but it's a spiritual gym that we are going to have in Tishrei. Anything else? I'm turning to the deputy chair, who has a much better memory than me.
The Rounders match will be Sunday the 4th of September.
Okay.
And whether that will be chair versus deputy chair or chair versus rabbi will remain to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
No way the chair will be beaten.
I mean, the chair is much more sporty than I am. So
I know, but the deputy chair team won last year.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
So we need to do that again.
Yes, okay. So we're going to ally against the chair.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
He's not here.
He's not here?
He's not here. So
okay. Okay, so we were won already.
So the chair against everyone else.
Yeah.
I think
that's it, yeah.
it before the high holidays.
So we have the Slichot service on Saturday the 17th, started the 17th. Rosh Hashanah is on Sunday, the 24th of September. So we are going to start with it's a family-oriented Rosh Hashanah, so we're going to have a family service and then a Rosh Hashanah Seder, Chavura, I don't know how to call it, and we need Chavura Seder Rosh Hashanah, supper, whatever, food, with the usual food, lots of food, the usual food for Rosh Hashanah. So I won't ask you to bring the fish head that we normally have on Rosh Hashanah, but and of course, Rosh Hashanah days on the Monday, etc., etc. Okay, so let's conclude our service now. Page 520. By popular demand, we're going to do the Aleinu in full.
He did a wonderful version last week, René.
Did he? Do you want to do it again? Please stand. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, אשר שם חלקנו לאחד את שמו, וגורלנו להמליך מלכותו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמים על, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. So before we say the Kaddish, I would like to say the Yortzeit of this week. So on this week we remember Henry de Kerr-Silver, the husband of Pamela de Kerr-Silver. Remember Joe Fisher, the mother of Mimi Zadeh. We remember Philip Schwartz, the father of Francis Leifer. And we remember Leah Vigan, the mother of Helen Green. And you may know already by now that a former member of KLS was very well known in the community, Susan Zisman, passed away last week. And she used to organize what she called the 40s Club. Sorry?
The shop.
And the shop as well. So she was very active at KLS for many years. She baked amazing cakes. I can tell you. Each time I used to go, there was always this massive cake. I mean, she was a great baker and a great, great person, but sadly she passed away. Rabbi Danny Rich will do a private funeral, and there will be later on a celebration of her life. And I also found out yesterday that Susie Abraham's father passed away a couple of days ago now, and we don't know yet when the funeral will be. Do you have any other name you'd like to remember before we say the Kaddish?
My dad, Pfertzel.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. So yeah. So it's not. So what's your name?
Alfredo Martin.
Alfredo Martin. Okay.
I'd like to remember Elizabeth Wise, who's the mother of my daughter's best friend, who passed away a couple of weeks ago and whose funeral was yesterday.
Oh, okay. Zichronam livracha. May their memory be a blessing. And we say together, Yitkada leVeitkada Shemei Rabba בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו, להלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל בני אדם, ואמרו אמן. Please be seated. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נשא וחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה, והוא יהיה בתפארה. הוא אחד ואין שני, להמשילו להבירה, בלי ראשית בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה, ולא העוז והמשרה. והוא אלי וחי גואלי, וצור חבלי בצרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביומך, מנת כוסי ביומך. בידו אפקיד רוחי, בעת תשען והעירה, ואמרורי גוויעתי, אדוני לי ולא אירא, אדוני לי ולא אירא. Please stand. מי ששיכן את שמו בבית הכנסת הזה, הוא ישכין ביניכם אהבה ואחווה ושלום ורעות. May the one whose presence dwells in this synagogue and in your homes cause love and harmony, peace and friendship to dwell among us. And let us say Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to you and have a nice Shabbat.